Hey, everybody, this is Nick, Hunter, and JJ from Dallas. You're listening to Dogmatic Opinions podcast, and the show covers sports and so much more. Today, we'll be talking about the NBA power rankings, Jalen Brunson and the Mavs implications, along with Baker Mayfield talk. Nick, Hunter, where did Dogmatic Opinions come from?
That was so official.
Love it.
Well, the name Dogmatic Opinions kind of got thought up. I'm gonna give most of that credit back to you guys. I've been wanting to do a podcast where we talk about not just sports but whatever, anything under the sun. I want to do this since I was 16, 17. Since podcasts became a thing, since I just dove really hard into sports. Sports in my life has meant everything, other than friends and family. That is one of the most fulfilling things in my life. So always just talk about sports on the daily. So figured might as well broadcast it out there. Maybe some like-minded individuals also appreciate and want to share these ideas.
Perfect.
Yeah, for sure. A little bit of the same thing. Always enjoyed watching sports and learning everything. I'm a big guy who watches everything and anything. So love the ability to talk about it with a few buddies here. And, like Nick said, people that want to listen, great. May not agree with everything, but hey, that's what we're here for. We're here just to have a good time. Dogmatic Opinions came from more of our host here, Mr. Van Sickle. And he'll explain a little bit more on that. But we're here just to talk a little sports, have a little fun in our free time, and see what we can come up with.
Yeah, we sit here and we talk every day on the mic while playing Call of Duty, and we talk sports day in and day out. Sometimes we talk about sports or our opinions such as facts. So, unique way to say factual, and then, everything that we say is going to be our own opinion. So let's go ahead and get that started. Let's talk about 23 NBA season power rankings. I've got a list here from FanSided of the top 10 teams for the upcoming NBA season. Nick or Hunter, who do you think is going to be number one on that power rankings list?
Now, this is objective, right?
More
objective. This side is an objective list, correct? Going in, considering things that have happened in free agency, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So I think we're just going to start it off with Golden State. Obviously coming off a big championship win. So I'm going to have to say Golden State's probably first on that list. What do you think, Nick?
I would agree. Hard to argue with the defending champs. Definitely would say Golden State.
Yep, you boys are both correct. Golden State Warriors is listed as the number one team with the loss of a couple key veterans this year. They are poised to come back and be a dominant force. Nick, what's your guess for number two slot?
So, number two, definitely don't want to say Boston. I would say, considering the moves that have happened so far, it's hard to not say the Suns, but I think I'm actually going to go with the Heat. You've got Tyler Hero, another year of experience. You've got Jimmy Butler, who's continuing to gel with that team. Don't want to factor in what ifs, but, we do know that Mr. Durant's still in the running to go there. So especially if he hopped in there, he would also increase that, possibly even to number one. But that's also considering those big names stay. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Heat, number two. Just re-signed, was it Caleb Martin today? 3 year, 21 mil.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. But I think I'm actually going to go with what your first said. I think the Celtics are still up there. The way Jason Tatum progressively got better and extremely better this year has been significant. And his upside is crazy, and he's continuing to be better in this league. So I think the Celtics are at number two on that list.
Do we know? Sorry, the Celtics, do we know, maybe we can get to that later, but do we know adds and losses? Because I'm trying to think. I can't think off the top of my head any significant free agents.
No significant losses. As long as Malcolm stays healthy, they could have a great season.
We're talking
correct.
Malcolm Brogdon. That's right. Yeah, they got Malcolm Brogdon from Indiana.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Another
didn't
reason
think
you're
about
keeping that core team together that's not going to break up. So that's a big push from my 2 slot there.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch my answer. I picked Boston.
What was
Oh,
it?
It is
Who is
Boston
number 2?
Celtics, right?
Boston. Okay. Good.
On a roll here. All right. For our number 3 slot, what do we got rolling today, Nick?
Hunter on this one, right?
Hunter, you're right. Hunter.
Yeah. So I like what Nick said about the Suns. A lot going on there. Still a lot of question within the free agency. Again, big what if of KD. But I really like personally the Bucks keeping Giannis, Drew considerably getting better this year. Drew Holiday, Giannis still being at the elite level he is. And then re-signing, was it? Oh, I'm blanking on the name, but re-signed a key player as well to that team. So I think
Bobby
they'll be at
Portis.
number 3. Yeah, Bobby Portis. There we go. I wanted to say that, but Bobby Portis back to that team is big. So I think they'll be at number 3.
Yeah. Well, since I changed mine from the Heat to the Celtics, I'm gonna go back to the Heat in that case. Then, really, Hunter chime in. I can't think of any significant adds or losses there either. I mean, just re-signing their same players, and for me, bigger than anything, I mean, they were really good this year. They faced a very tough Boston team, a very gelled Boston team in the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, Boston did not have the run that they had in the second half of the season. Very well could have been the Heat versus the Warriors in the NBA Finals, and I mean, who knows from there? They match up way differently against the Warriors than the Celtics did. So I'm gonna go number 3, the Heat.
It's good takeaway. It's good takeaway there. This list has the Memphis Grizzlies
Okay.
as number 3. The Heat rank in at number 12. Their opinion is that the age of their core pieces is a big factor.
Of the Heat,
Yes.
they're saying they're getting old.
Mhm.
Yeah, getting old.
Disrespect.
Yeah,
That's
disrespecting Jimmy there, bro.
Sure is.
Hey, Grizzlies though ain't bad. I mean, you got who missed at least, I think it was what, 90 games, 60 games, something like that, something significant.
Yeah.
So him coming back from that is a big deal. Big deal. So I could see it. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah. We're talking you're talking Jaren Jackson Jr.'s injury.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, correct.
You good. Yeah, I mean, we'll see how he develops. I mean, even when he was healthy the year before, I mean, of course he was young, but he's an undersized 5. I mean, he's definitely got a lot of athleticism to make up for it. I mean, you got guys who, in my opinion, like Dylan Brooks, he's kind of reached his peak potential. Like, I don't know if there's another year for a guy like that. Same with like DeAnthony Milton. As much as I like him, again, I think you might have capped potential there. Again, solid players, but unless they add another piece there, and again, is there anyone that I'm missing that they signed or lost over the free agency period so far?
No big moves.
I'm a big jaw guy as well. I wouldn't put them above. I probably have them, honestly. I guess we'll get there. I probably have, if I had my own list, probably 5 or 6 for Memphis would be my guess.
While we're on that topic, Nick, what do you think about Ja and Zion's contract being essentially the same with Zion being out?
Yeah, so I mean, we talked about this off screen. I mean, the NBA rules are in place for a reason, and this is a rule that I'm sure the Pelicans were. I mean, they wouldn't have offered that to him if they weren't fine with taking that risk. But for a guy that's played a total of 90 games, averages 26 points, 8 boards when he's in there, sure. But for a guy that's, we're giving a lot of money. Even Kristaps played more games at this point in his career than Zion has. I mean, if we can compare it that way. And he got his max deal too. So, I never like to say that, it's never going to work out, because you never know. Joel Embiid, the process, trust the process. And that's what they're doing. So if it works out, great for them. Still a huge amount of guaranteed money to give to a guy that's only played 90 games.
Definitely agree.
I 1,000,000% agree. But like you said, he has been good when he's in. So maybe they seeing something that we don't. He has lost a significant amount of weight starting this off season. So we'll see if that helps his body be able to hang in there.
All the pics I see are him doing Mountain Dew and Taco Bell commercials, man. Do we have any Zion shredded pics?
That's right. Need to pull that up.
All righty, we're back to pick number 4. Nick, what's your thoughts?
Yeah. So Golden State, Boston, Memphis is the list so far, right?
Correct.
4. You did already kind of mention the Heat were outside the top 10, so I guess I won't guess them. I guess this is where I would put Giannis in the Bucks. Yeah, over the Suns. Yeah, I'll put Giannis in the Bucks here. They have Chris Middleton. That's going to be healthy, hopefully, again, to start this year. He was definitely injured going in that playoff last year. Again, same thing as the Heat. They face a tough Boston team. Again, a very gelled Boston team in that playoff. The Bucks would be next for me in that case. Then it would have been the Heat, but they're outside top 10. So I'm gonna go with the Bucks on that one.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to stick with that. I thought the Bucks would be at 3, but no, I agree. The Bucks are poised to still continue to be a good team in this league, and they haven't dropped off anybody. No big signings other than Portis back. So I mean, I still think they'll be very well gelled team. Drew made a big jump this year, and I see that he'll continue to get better. So,
Would definitely agree. You guys are definitely correct on that. Bucks at number 4.
Bucks at 4.
Going on to number 5, Hunter. Who do you have at your top 5?
So may have a different one here than what Nick has, but I'm gonna go 5 with the Nuggets. Jamal Murray coming back, especially with gosh, I'm blanking on the biggest guy's name out there.
Nikola?
Yeah, Nikola, just getting again. Yes, the Joker, who is a freaking stud. I mean, doesn't get much better than that. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with continually over the next few years.
Yeah. Man, I mean, can we stop the idea that center is an irrelevant position in the NBA these days? We're talking back-to-back MVP Nikola Jokic. We're talking top 2 this year centers. We're talking Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid. We're talking Finals MVP last year, center / power forward Giannis Antetokounmpo. So the center position is alive and well in this league, that's for sure. I mean, if you've got the skills, if you can pass, shoot, and rebound, then there's a spot for you in the league. Doesn't matter how tall, it doesn't matter what size you are, doesn't matter what position. But with that being said, I'm not picking the Nuggets. I think I'm actually gonna go with assuming he stays. I think I'm going to go 76ers here. Adding PJ Tucker was huge for me. I mean, that's a dude that's proven himself over and over, not only as a glue guy in the locker room, but just as a defensive juggernaut. He'll guard 1 through 5. He'll guard your best player, at any time. So when you free up that defensive pressure, when you free that up from Joel Embiid, when you free that up from James Harden, when you free that up from a very young, strong developing player in Tyrese Maxey, I mean, that to me, is definitely going to show success. I think those guys are going to contend for the number 1 seed in the East again next year. So I think I'm going to go 76ers number 5.
Big opinions for both you guys. The list has Minnesota Timberwolves as number 5.
Dang it, dude! That was my number 6, bro. I mean, you got Rudy Gobert joining the team. That's a freaking massive play by them. Going 2 big men. And like Nick just said, you can't count out the big guys in this league. That is crazy big.
I did just talk up the big guys in this league. But there's 2 things. There's 2 things in that list that Rudy Gobert can't do. He can rebound. He can't score. He can't pass. Not at the level of some of these other guys. I mean,
correct.
Listen, I don't know. My stock and my value in Rudy Gobert went down in this playoffs when I saw how every single time down the floor, if we could just get a mismatch with anybody under 6'8" against Rudy Gobert, put him on skates every single time. If that's going to continue to happen, that's not going away. You can't tell me that when we get to game 7 of a playoff series, that in the last 5 minutes of a fourth quarter, you're throwing out both Karl-Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert out there, especially against the Warriors. I mean, there's no way that that's going to be successful they're going to expose that, in my opinion, in my
But
dogmatic opinion.
they got some help as well, though. I'll say they got D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Edwards, who Anthony significantly improved this year. D'Angelo Russell looked good as well. But I mean, I agree with you that Rudy, I mean, he's not a big scorer, but do they really need him to score? Cat scores all the points anyway. I mean, he just needs boards, get cat out from under the board. Less injuries involved there, and let Rudy go get all the boards, blocks, and run a what do we call that?
Yeah.
Post up high, post down low. Run it that way.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not trying to discount Rudy Gobert as a player. I still think he's probably, just off the top of my head, probably a top 20 player in this league. I mean, he's still up there. I'm not saying that. Let's also not discount what they gave up for that, and not just talking about the picks, because obviously that has nothing to do with the power rankings this season. I mean, Patrick Beverley was a fringe, starter, ferocious player that brought a lot of fire to that team. Malik Beasley, not as well known, but I mean, the guy, for a 6'5" shooting guard or whatever the heck he is, plays great defense, can shoot pretty well, especially when he gets streaky, and he can rebound the ball. I think that's going to drop off a little bit. You had the rotational player, Jared Vanderbilt in there, young guy, and then a freaking top 10 pick last year, Walker Kessler, that they gave up in that deal too, who would, again, we haven't really seen much from him, but I think they gave up a lot for that deal to help them, not as much specifically. I think they'll be a great regular season team, but specifically in the playoffs, we'll have to see. I don't know how they're going to match up against some of these small ball teams in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree that was a little, at least in my dogmatic opinion here, that was a little too much to give up for Rudy, especially seeing what other players were going for, as well as what some might go for in the future. And that's a big question around KD too, is what is he going to bring?
Yeah, they set precedence. Yeah,
I agree.
These unprotected picks. I mean, let's talk real quick, just the DeJounte Murray trade. The unprotected picks that are going out right now is kind of nuts.
Yes. People want certain people, and they're doing whatever they have to get them. That's what it is right now.
They're playing 2K right now. Yeah.
That's right. That's exactly right. Exactly right. What you got next for us, Big?
All right, let's move on to number 6. Nick, who do you think? Who's in your 6?
So we got Golden State, Boston, Memphis, Milwaukee, Minnesota. Well, see, I don't want to say 76ers again if I'm going to be wrong every time. Who else would they? See, now I'm going to think in their mindset. If that's a big ad for them, you know what? Just to throw the name in there, just so we can get talking about that. I think this list might say Clippers next. They might say Clippers at number 6 with John Wall up there. I mean, shoot, if we're considering all this with health, if we're saying all players are healthy, then yeah, I mean, let's put the Clippers up there at number 6. I mean, you get a healthy Kawhi Leonard, that's a top 4 team in the West. You put a healthy Paul George with a healthy Kawhi Leonard, that's a top 4 team in the West. You put a healthy 80% version of what John Wall was at the Wizards, 80% of that, and healthy on this team with those other 2 guys, you may be talking top 2 in the West, Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go ahead with considering health, assuming that they're healthy and all 3 playing, and definitely about to ask this question. I'm going to say Clippers, and then I'm going to ask the question over under 19.5 games that all 3 of them play together. So 19.5 over under. You going over under for the amount of games that Kawhi, PG, and John Wall are all going to play together.
So I'm going to take the over on that solely for the fact of they're going to play the first 20 games together, 20 games, and then be injured after that. That's the only reason why I'm taking that over. But no, I like the thought. That's a good thought. I mean, like you said, Kawhi, when he's healthy, a force to be reckoned with. But I think I'm going to have to stick with, what I said last time of those Nuggets. I mean, there's something about them, and I don't think they're going anywhere. So that's my pick there.
Healthy Michael Porter Jr., healthy Jamal Murray. Yeah, for sure.
Y'all are so close. We got rounding out number 6. We got the Phoenix Suns.
I totally forgot about them. Yeah.
The only reason that I didn't have them is, some of it's assumptions. I'm assuming DeAndre Ayton's not there. I'm assuming this list made it with DeAndre Ayton there. I'm assuming he's not there, so that's why I didn't have him up there. I mean, if KD ends up over there with some kind of sign and trade Ayton over there, then I mean that even bumps the Suns up even further for me. But assuming Ayton wasn't there, that's why I didn't have them in the top at least 8. I probably would have put them 9 or 10.
Yeah, I agree with them, it being there, but I agree with you that I don't think Ayton's there as well. And, I know you said that you'd bump up with KD, depending on how much they give up as far as, talent that they had to give for Rudy Gobert. If it's that significant plus some, as it appears it's going to have to be, that it may drop them a little bit for me, depending on who they give up. And again, that's just a dogmatic opinion, but I mean, if they have to give up the farm for him, yes, KD day one is going to make them amazing. But if they drop 8 and if they start dropping like big names and, they may have a good starting 5, but they ain't got nobody on their bench, what are you going to do?
Well, I'll say this as well. Just going back to the Suns, one, if we want to talk age concerns, like with the Heat, how old's Chris Paul now?
Yeah.
36?
Yeah.
At some point, he's going to stop being able to produce at that level. Don't know if it's this year. Don't know when. And I mean, even if, assuming they do have Ayton here, what are the chances? The law of averages or whatever will tell you that there's no way they're going to repeat this season. They don't win 64 games this year. There's no way.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way.
37 for Chris Paul.
37. Yeah.
That's getting up on there. The back half. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Getting up there. All right. What do we got for number 7?
Hunter, what's your thoughts for number 7?
I hate to keep saying it, but Nuggets have to round up the top freaking 8 or something, man.
I'm glad JJ told me the Heat was out of it, so I at least stopped naming them every single time.
There's no way. They've only improved and again got 2-time MVP. It has to be them.
I'll stay away from the Clippers on this one as the troll. I'm going to go back to the 76ers for mine then. Again, assuming they re-sign James Harden. I'm a big Tyrese Maxey guy. I've already kind of mentioned him. I think he's a great combo guard. Matisse Thybulle, continues to be a defensive juggernaut. So, yeah, I'm going to go back to the 76ers.
Are they re-signing? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Are they re-signing James Harden? Is he just altering his combo for additional players?
So he declined the player option, but the report that I was reading is that he's still planning on signing a long-term deal. So, because if he accepts it, he's only done, he's only under contract this last year. Yeah, if he declined the player option like he did, they've got the opportunity to probably sign him to a 4-year, maybe 5-year max deal, is my assumption that they'll do there. How old is James Harden? 32?
Oh, 33, I think. I want to say 33. But maybe
James Harden is 32 years old.
32, yeah. Hey, good stuff.
He's still got some years. He's never going to be what he was in Houston, having freaking 50-point triple doubles every other week. But, he's still got some skill. That's a guy that's always going to be, the question's always going to be asked, does he really care about winning and love basketball? I don't know why you play this game without caring for that. Yes, the money is definitely a huge factor, but eventually he's got to want it bad enough just to shove it in everyone's face, right?
Oh, 1,000%. All right, at number 7, we have the LA Clippers.
Oh, you should have said it, man.
Oh, boys, we're so close here.
For the record, I think I'm also going over. I'm thinking somewhere in the range of 26 prior to playoffs, thinking anywhere from 26 to 30 games for all 3 of them to play together. But even then, that's less than half a season. And I know in today's NBA, load management is a thing. Kawhi Leonard being, one of the kings of that load management. But I think even going over and saying 26 is still pretty high. It could be 22, 23. But yeah, if they're healthy, if they're all healthy, and assuming John Wall's 80%, of what he was when he was in Washington, then yeah, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be in the top 10, top 8.
Yeah, I'm agree with that.
We'll go ahead and take the under on that. I don't wish for anybody to be hurt, but with age being a factor and their history, I don't think they all play.
All 3 guys have that history.
Mm-hmm.
All 3 guys have significant injury history.
Yeah, but we're gonna go back to the whole thing of age. You got Paul George at 32, Marcus Morris Sr. 32, Reggie Jackson 32, Kawhi Leonard 31. You talk about an old team. They're getting
That's the
up
only
like they're not old, but I mean
That's the
they're
only thing
getting
about
up
this
there.
list that I'm crapping on is the fact that they said that the Heat were getting too old. Like, man, you can use that argument for every team. Everyone's a year older. Everyone's a year older.
Accurate statement. Only young guy they got on that team is the Ivic Zubac guy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And he looks like he's 45, 50. I mean,
that is right. That is right.
oh man, he's a freaking maverick killer too. If it's a Zubac,
Yes.
we make that dude look like Rudy Gobert every night that we play him.
That was 7.
All right, boys.
So 7
Number
was
8,
LA.
Hunter. Who do you got? Nick, who do
I
you
thought
got?
this one was
Sorry.
me.
It is
All right.
you.
Yeah.
All right. Man.
Are
Let's
hovering.
see. We still haven't. All right. I'm just going to name some teams that I know. Like, so Nuggets, we know are still somewhere in there.
Mhm.
We know that 76ers got to be in there somewhere, you would think.
Yeah.
Right? Who else would? Oh, man. I mean, we didn't even, I'm not going to put them there yet, but we didn't even think Mavs.
Yep.
But I'm going to, man, I have no choice. You know, I won't even explanation. I'm going to go 76ers again.
Okay, Hunter, thoughts?
That's fair. See, I'm thinking more along the lines of possibly Atlanta. They made some good acquisitions this offseason. But I'm actually going to kind of change it up a little bit. I'm actually going to go Mavs. Adding Christian Wood, as well as, that all being our hometown team here. Luka being phenomenal and, continuing to outproduce what he needs to. I think the Mavs are at 8 here.
Oh, boys, rounding out 8, we have the Denver Nuggets.
There it is.
Oh, there it is. We already know why they're number 8. I mean,
yeah, you've already talked about them enough.
MVP.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm a big Nikola Jokic guy. When healthy, Jamal Murray is still makes in my dogmatic opinion, doesn't make the best decisions late in game. He can shoot the lights out. I mean, there's games that we've seen where he's just ripped, threes from nearly the logo to help tie or get him ahead, which, if you can make it, make it. Him, Damian Lillard, Steph Curry, one of the few that can do stuff like that. Michael Porter Jr., will he ever be fully healthy? I don't think so. So I'm still anticipating that he misses 50 plus games this year, would be my guess. I mean, he's got a broken back, has since college. So, if out there, health considered, would also consider them, in the West, everybody healthy. Yeah, put Nuggets. Yeah, I'd probably put the Nuggets about 5 or so in the West, fully healthy.
On to number 9, Hunter. Who do you have?
So I think I'm going to bounce off Nick's thing here, 76ers. Like I said, adding PJ Tucker's big. 76ers have to be in that top 10. So I'm going to go with them at number 9.
Okay. Nick?
Well, since I've already said them here, man, I'll I guess shake up another one. I'll go Mavs here. If they're doing it based off of last year, we'll talk about that probably. Jalen Brunson, leaving that. We'll leave that for a deeper discussion later. Him leaving definitely hurts a lot. The plan I'm going to assume is put Spencer Dinwiddie in the more high-profile ball handler role after Luka. But, man, we got to keep getting that man help. Luka can't do everything himself. I think he had a definitive year this year, especially Game 7 against the Suns. Really put him in the upper echelon of, okay, like this is going to be the guy in the league for the next few years. Yeah, I think I'm going to go Mavs number 9. Would like to see a lot more. I know we're going to dive into that later. I'd like to see a lot more activity to free up some cap space on this team. But yeah, I'll say Mavs 9.
Okay, rounding at number 9, we have the Toronto Raptors.
Am I missing something?
Otto Porter
Gary
Jr.
Trent.
should be a sneaky good signing. Is what they have. That's
What's that excerpt say? Tell me what that excerpt says there.
All right. Otto Porter Jr. should be a sneaky good signing. They brought back Thad Young,
aging.
Yep, and they'll get Scotty Barnes with another year of experience under his belt. Even if they don't trade for Kevin Durant, I think the Raptors could be hosting a playoff series. That's what we got for their snippet.
So Fred VanVleet, again, if we want to talk about aging, I think he, if I had to guess, probably 31, 32 for Fred
28.
VanVleet.
28 for Fred.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even young, because he came out of Wichita, being there
Yeah,
for
I
5 years.
know.
So I thought he was a little older. So I'll give him that. Gary Trent Jr., I'm pretty sure he's still young. I think he's still pretty
23.
young.
Mhm.
Scotty Barnes, again, is another year under his belt. Pascal Siakam, who's still decently young. They re-signed Chris Boucher. Yeah, I mean, there are names on that team. I guess I didn't really. OG Anunoby, what's the deal with him? Is he staying there? Is he a free agent? I can't remember.
As far as I can tell, he's still on the roster. But he is
under contract, or
I can't tell. Yeah, take a look. But let me bounce off that way. You look at that. I mean, you do have Scotty Barnes. Yeah. I mean, he's been great. Thaddeus Young, you said Fred VanVleet. I mean, they do have a fairly young core of people that continue to prove that they, that they can perform in the league. Otto Porter Jr., he's got to prove. I mean, it's a good signing, but he's got to prove himself there. I'm not fully convinced, and that's my dogmatic opinion.
I find it strange that that's what they lead with. The guy who was number 9 on the rotation for a championship team, Golden State Warriors.
Correct.
But yeah, I don't know if that's the reason I would sell them. I would think all the other names that we named and the fact that they are all still decent, younger than we even thought. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. Can I just piggyback off that real quick then? I mean, who do you package, assuming you give away whatever amount of picks, let's assume 4 first-round picks, who are you giving up for Kevin that's still going to have you a good team? Because out of those dudes we named, I think at least 3 of them are gone in that deal.
I mean, obviously you're talking, they're not going to get rid of Scotty Barnes because that's their future. Nope. Fred VanVleet's gone at that point. I mean, I know they want to keep him, but I agree, but I mean, you're going to have some other big names that go along with that. So, I mean, who do you think goes?
So I think Pascal Siakam.
Yeah.
Gary Trent Jr.
Fair.
OG Anunoby. And I just looked up his contract. He's signed. He's got a 4-year deal and with a player option in the last year, the 24-25 season, but he's under contract next year. So yeah, Pascal Siakam, Gary Trent Jr., OG Anunoby, and however many first round picks you have to give up. I think that's a sweet enough deal for Brooklyn. If we're doing just them, I mean, there's reports that they're trying to set up a multi-team deal. So assuming it's just a team-to-team there.
And I like that trade. I think they do add this person just solely for the fact of mentorship is Thaddeus Young, as much as they don't want to get rid of him as well. He's old, but that Nets team will need some mentorship, getting rid of, at this point, probably Kyrie as well. You only have Ben Simmons on that team, who we already know the past with him. That, I mean, you got to have some leadership in that form. So they'd probably steal an older guy away to hopefully coach up their young guys and keep them in, ready to play and in that mindset.
Yeah, I definitely agree. All right, we're off to number 10. Nick,
I'm doing it.
You can always say it so many times.
76ers. If they are not in this top 10, they have to be assuming James Harden's not there, right? I mean, they finished. Where did they finish? 3, 4. Where did they finish last year? I can try to look that up real quick too.
Who was 9? Oh, that's right, Raptors. Sorry,
they finished 4. They were in the 4th seed last year. You're telling me they got worse? Let's see. Who did they? Maybe I'll know who the 76ers have signed, if anyone, so far. They lose PJ Tucker. Or sorry, they gained PJ Tucker.
They gained PJ Tucker.
Yeah. Who else did they sign? They signed another name.
I'm only seeing PJ at the moment.
Did they sign D'Anthony Melton from the Grizzlies?
Shake Milton. They have that on there. No, I don't think they signed anybody else.
Not seeing it.
I like your 76
70
pick, but
No, look, I got you guys. 2 weeks
what do
ago,
you got?
76ers trade Danny Green to Memphis for DeAnthony Melton. The rest of the 23rd
there
overall
he is.
pick.
Yep, there he is right there.
So that's
Mhm.
I dropped his name earlier for the Grizzlies, which makes me think even more the Grizzlies aren't number 3. Again, not a big name, but adding PJ Tucker and another off guard. D'Anthony Melton is another off guard, super athletic. Go look up some D'Anthony Melton posterizing highlights. He's actually done it to quite a few people. I mean, so that's just another name. Yeah, it's got to be 76ers. They should be higher, but 76ers number 10.
Okay. Dogmatic opinion.
So yeah, and I think I like the 76ers pick there, but just to be a little the way I am, I'm gonna go Mavs. I think the Mavs again have improved. Was not great. We lost Brunson, but we knew it was coming. Hopefully we can add a couple more small names here and there during this free agency. Like Nick said, hopefully we can actually dip a little bit more in the free agency than what we've been doing. But I'm going to go with Mavs here.
At top 10, rounding out our list, Philadelphia 76ers.
Sixers.
It's about time.
Very end. We have some honorable.
What does the
11
what does the excerpt
15.
say?
The excerpt say that DeAnthony Melton and PJ Tucker were a nice kid, but I think James Harden's best years are firmly behind him, and they are a team who might feel comfortable taking their foot off the gas a bit during the regular season, knowing the playoffs are what really matters.
Yeah, actually, I really don't disagree with that. So if they're saying they're going to round out, but again, I mean, they finished number 4 in the East last year. I don't know where that ranked them. Let me just go look. I'll take a look at where that may have ranked them. Like in the league as a whole, 76ers finished 8th. You're telling me they're going to fall back from that after these ads? I don't think
Doubtful. And let's just round this out up to 15.
I like it.
At 11, we have Cleveland Cavaliers. And then number 12, Miami Heat, honorable mention. Number 13, the Chicago Bulls. Number 14, New Orleans Pelicans. And number 15 are Dallas Mavericks.
See, but and I agree with that list. I mean, Cavs are questionable to me. I know they had picked up a lot of young talent. But I'm surprised of one team and one team only. And I know that there's a lot of question around them right now. LA, where's your Lakers at? Still got one of the greatest players to ever play basketball.
Yeah, I mean,
you'll know I'm a huge
LeBron guy. Without Kyrie on that team, it's becoming more and more apparent that the bubble was meant for the Lakers. I mean, who knows what happens if there's no bubble? What if there was no bubble and they didn't win that championship, man? We would be looking at things. People are already looking at it with somewhat of an asterisk, but it's a championship, still a championship. You got to play who's in front of you in whatever condition. So I'm not going to take it away from them. But every little variable matters. So yeah, I think that changed everything.
Absolutely.
Without getting Kyrie, Lakers are outside top 15 for me.
If they do get Kyrie, they top 15 for you.
Where did Kyrie play the best basketball of his career? Right next to LeBron James. So they're right back up in there. I mean, you take that pressure, especially that scoring pressure off LeBron. I mean, AD takes some of that pressure off when he plays half the game, but you put Kyrie on that team, and it's not like the rules are any more stringent. He's going from New York to California, so they're still going to have the rules in place, if any. But I think that would be actually a great spot for him. He gels with LeBron.
Yeah, but I think if Kyrie goes over, you're gonna have to see Russell offloaded because of his contract. So I imagine that we'll see a big either 3-14 trade, something like that with Russell. Hopefully they're not. I mean, my dogmatic opinion, hopefully they're not dumb enough to give away Anthony Davis. But we've seen crazier stuff happen. They're not going to get rid of James, of course, or Anthony at this point, because Anthony's at his career where he gets to pick and choose where he wants to play. So he'll continue to play with James, and hopefully Kyrie can come over help them
know.
out a little bit.
I know they're older, but man, I mean, if you're giving me Kyrie and KD for Anthony Davis and whatever else, I'd consider it.
I would agree with that.
That's a win now. That puts them, honestly,
Correct.
that probably puts them at number one power ranking.
I would agree.
You put
I would
Kyrie and
agree.
KD on that team with LeBron. Yeah.
Definitely.
You got 3 to 4 years worth of a contract to get your championships out of the way, and then your total rebuild by that point, because you've given up. You would have given up everything to get them people, as well as maintaining them, and then after that, your total rebuild. So, I mean, but the Lakers are that way, sometimes. So we could see it happening.
They have to be. Your superstar is 38 years old. 37 years old, about to be 38, LeBron James. So, I mean, I think it is. And how many times have we talked about this? We know that LeBron's waiting for Bronny to hop up in the NBA.
Yeah.
So if any team is win now, it's the Lakers. So if that's going to get you the championships, then yeah, I mean, I don't think that Brooklyn would do that. But I mean, because what do you give back? I know the Lakers don't have a lot of picks to give because they gave a lot in the Anthony Davis deal. But Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, for KD, Kyrie, obviously still needs to have more from the Lakers side. I don't know what else, 1 or 2 picks. I don't
you got
even know
Austin Reeves, who did great last year, small.
Yeah, JJ, we watched him hit a game winner on us. That's Austin Reeves who hit that game-winning 3 against.
It was heart-wrenching.
So yeah,
overtime 3, heart-wrenching.
I mean, how many people can they actually put in this thing? Because I mean, you're talking Lonnie Walker Jr. too.
He couldn't. He'd have to wait. You can't trade a guy that just got signed. So he wouldn't be able to be traded until either halfway through December or January, I think.
Yeah.
But still.
Yep, I forgot he just signed. But they're gonna have to add something else or picks. But I don't think they have very many picks with the Anthony Davis sign and everything. So it'll be interesting to see the coming months what KD and Kyrie do and see if they can add them to this team. Because I agree with you, they are win now. Because once Bronny comes up, it's James going to play with Bronny, finish out his career of a spectacular career he's had.
Yeah. Exactly. And speaking of players picking where they want to play, local Dallas NBA news: Jalen Brunson has signed to the Knicks. Nick, what is your initial thought, and how will the Mavs move forward from here?
I was going to say Hunter go first. I mean, initial thought: when these kind of things happen, you always go both ways. One, good for Jalen Brunson. I mean, huge deal. He developed really well, under our system. I'm not gonna miss the money he's being paid. Definitely got the bag. Going forward, man. I mean, from the Mavs perspective, I've already kind of hinted at it. We got to see more activity. I know they can only sign vet minimums at this point, so I know they're not going to do it in free agency. So moving forward, I see that in some form of a trade targets. I don't really know, but contracts that I would love to see unloaded. Davis Bertans is the 4th highest paid player, going to be the 4th highest paid player on this team next year. He is not even close to your 4th. Hopefully, he's not your 4th best player on this team. Do that literally up until like the Western Conference Finals. Didn't even shoot a 2 in the playoffs. Only shot 3s leading up to the Western Conference Finals. Tim Hardaway Jr., as much as I love him, I mean, I think his value after that injury is gonna drop a little bit. It's kind of like when we won the championship in 2011. Our second best player at that time was Caron Butler, and he was out starting in January and didn't play the rest of the year. We knew right then, we don't need Caron Butler. Kind of the same thing here. Like, we were able to fill the void of what Tim Hardaway Jr. does with a little bit of Jalen Brunson, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Reggie Bullock. So I mean, honestly, I'd like to see Davis Bertans and THJ not on the roster to start this year. Personally, I don't. As much as I love Dwight Powell, he was the best part of that Rondo trade years back. But I don't really want to see him on the roster either at an $11 million cap hit. I would like to see those 3 guys moved for another, athletic wing or another athletic. If I'm asking too much, shooting wing. Like a Mikal Bridges type with the Suns. If you get a guy, not saying Mikal Bridges, if you get a guy like Mikal Bridges, I think he does equally what Tim Hardaway does and more. What Davis Bertans does and more. Maybe not as good of a 3-point shooter, but definitely improved this year. So As far as very last piece, I mean, as far as filling the void of Jalen Brunson, you're talking about your secondary ball handler, the dude that when Luka goes out is running the offense. I think right now, as the roster stands, that falls to pretty obviously Spencer Dinwiddie. I don't think his playmaking inside is as good as Jalen Brunson is finishing at the rim, but he can be a serviceable, point guard. I don't think he'll be a pass first guy, but definitely a serviceable secondary ball handler.
Yeah, see, I'm right there with him. Brunson leaving was this stunk. We knew it was happening, though. I mean, it's perfectly fine. Again, kudos to him. He's done great. Kind of crazy though. NBA history, the first $100 million contract by a person who wasn't in the All-Star game. So that's some big stuff New York's putting into him. Of course, they're going to be getting rid of Rose, so more playing time with him. But dude's proved himself in Dallas, but now he's got a big hill to climb in New York. Because we know their fans, we know the way they are, and they're going to be expecting a lot of them signing the way he did. So as far as Mavs go, I think, like Nick was talking about, we got to offload some of them contracts. This is more of just a straight opinion. JaVale wasn't my favorite. Good backup, hopefully, to Christian Wood. Hopefully we could see a lot more Christian Wood, not so much of unhealthy Christian Wood. And hopefully, him and Luka are able to pick up and, run a lot of pick and roll and open Luka up more. Cause like Nick said, we need to help that man. He's done everything he can in his power and continues to be better at it. But there's a point where all they got to do is put two people on him, and there's not much more he can do. So if we don't have those supporting factors, it's gonna hurt. So Brunson did hurt leaving, but kudos to him. Hopefully he does well in the Knicks. Be watching him closely. Did just see we did sign Jaden Hardy to a 3-year contract about 4 hours ago. So that might help us out a little bit. But expecting big things from the Mavs in the coming years. We want to keep Luka in his prime as long as possible. And best of luck to Brunson. Even though I hate the Knicks, it's fine, it's fine.
I didn't know he was an Eagles fan before he left. Had no idea.
Good
Jalen Brunson was an Eagles fan, but we won't hold it against him, I guess. So I guess we can now.
I guess we can now.
That's right.
Well, speaking of the NFL, big trade happened today. Baker Mayfield goes to the Panthers. Is he a clear day one starter over Sam Darnold? And what will Baker bring to Carolina? Hunter, what's your thoughts?
So I myself, as you see, big Steelers fan, not the biggest fan of Baker, but as far as football goes, I am a big fan of Baker. He's proven himself. He took that Browns team from nothing to something. Dogmatic opinion, they did him wrong. The dude helped them win a lot of games and played hurt through most of his seasons there, and no one can blame him for what he did. And at the end of deciding Deshaun, which could be good, could be bad for Browns, that's yet to come. But to the fact of him going over to the Panthers, great move by the Panthers. Love Sam Darnold as well. Think he does have some potential. Whether or not it's starting or not, that's an opinion one way or another. I don't even know. But I clearly see him as a day one starter. Mayfield. It's going to be tough, though. I think he is going to have more competition than what people are expecting, as Darnold has built a relationship with Christian McCaffrey, Robbie Anderson, all of them of, be building a strong core. So going to be very difficult. But I think Baker just brings another level that they're wanting as far as scrambling, as far as throw on the run, as far as just overall toughness, which we haven't seen out of Sam. Sam's a great pocket passer and has been, gotten better. They had that great start to the season last season, but has had, at the end of the season kind of dropped off, and it wasn't necessarily all him, but having Baker there and maybe even having Darnold as a backup may not be the worst thing. I'll be interested to see, though, if they offload Darnold somewhere, possibly hot take here, Nick, possibly looking to offload probably just to Seattle, even though they have Drew, offload Darnold to Seattle. Pete Carroll loves Darnold. Saw a bunch of stuff on that, so that'll be interesting to see what happens. But good move on the Panthers' part. They're in win now. Matt Rule is under under crunch there, and so he's like, let's win now. And I do think it's a great move. First game, Nick said, first game they have are against the Browns, and that's going to be a big proven game.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, got the hot takes in the hand. Hunter's hot take, Baker does not play 22-23. Not correct. Nick's hot take, Baker gets traded to Seattle. Also not correct. Let's see. JJ's hot take on Baker. Did you have one, JJ?
I don't think I did.
I don't think you did. Our buddy Chris decided to throw out, after the trade was already done, throw out the hot take of Baker to Houston for some reason, that they do a secondary trade. I mean, I'll go counter to Hunter. I am not a Baker guy. I don't like to be the guy that's like, oh, he's got no character, he's a punk, all that. Like, no, I just don't think he's that great of a quarterback. And when I say that, I mean relatively. Obviously he's a better player than me or some of these other guys that are coming out. But if we're talking NFL ready, QBs, he's got a great arm, way better arm than I thought he did going into the league. But his decision making under pressure, granted the pressure may be some of the problem, but his decision making under pressure, his ability to win games late and consistently drive the ball down the field late, we've seen over and over that he can't run the offense like that. And so I'm not a big Baker guy. But with that being said, on the other side, I'm also definitely not a Sam Darnold guy either. Didn't like him coming out of college. Thought that he was a really bad, choice for them to take, for the Jets to take. Obviously, they regretted it right away as well. So, I don't think that Baker, or I don't think Sam's going to be the starter week one, to answer that question outright. I do think it'll be Baker. I think you put him under center going into camp. They'll figure out pretty quickly that Baker's the best guy. And then just to touch on the Seattle thing, you do have the connection. Sam Darnold went to USC. That's where Pete Carroll, did his college years, won a championship. Oh, wait, he doesn't have it anymore. Won a championship that got taken away from him. But yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that happening. I did see a report today that said that they have no plans on trading Darnold. They do want that competition. And at the end of the day, if Baker's not happy even being there, which I think, to his credit, to his character, I think he's going to make the best of the situation, so I think he was just ready to get moving on. I think that this was a big win for Baker as far as just him being able to start the new chapter at this point.
Yeah, my question, go ahead.
No, I definitely agree with what you're saying there, Nick. And, throw something in there. I was looking up Christian McCaffrey and what he's going to look like for the 2022 season. He looks like he's expected to play. How do you feel that Baker's ball playing skills with Christian McCaffrey in the backfield? I think if Baker takes off, I mean, Christian McCaffrey being such a dynamic running back there, being able to lob the ball over a linebacker down to him, I think that's going to create havoc for some of these these defenses out here.
So hot take, got it on here. Christian McCaffrey is going to play at least 12 games this year. Got it on the hot takes, at least 12 games. If that man stays healthy, no, that's a straight 12 plus. Like he's playing 12 games. If he plays 12 games with Baker, if Baker starts week one, if Christian McCaffrey plays 12 games or more, DJ Moore is top 12, 15 receiver in the NFL, something like that, maybe 15 to 18. I don't know. And then, I mean, that defense is still, very decent. My understanding is Stephon Gilmore he's still there, another year. You got Brian Burns. I mean, you've got some playmakers on that side as well. That's a big reason they were 6-0 to start last year, was the defense. So, I'm pretty sure I do have that as a hot take. I have Carolina actually winning the NFC South. Hot take next year. And yes, over Tampa Bay and Tom Brady's. So yeah, I mean, Carolina's got a shot. And I wrote that down even before they got Baker. So as much as I'm not a Baker guy, like I said, I'm even more of a non-Sam Darnold guy. So put Baker in that team. I think they're winning the NFC South.
Yeah, I agree. I honestly, personally don't think we'll see a big difference as far as hopefully Baker's mature. And again, I'm actually a Baker fan as much as the Steelers, but I don't think we'll see a whole lot different. Hopefully he matures within within age, again, obviously this guy's way better than me, and I have no place talking any mess about him or anything. But he had Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt in the background. Yes, Christian McCaffrey is a different back, but those guys were bigger, blocking for him better, stuff like that Christian's not going to do. Christian's more of the scat back where dump it off to him, let him make moves, run routes, stuff like that. So I don't know necessarily that Christian McCaffrey will make a difference. He will as far as the amount of runs it's going to take away if he's healthy, all that stuff. But I mean, they did add Deontay Foreman, who did well with the Giants, for his little stint there.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And so, Chuba Hubbard as well, they added from OSU 2 years back. Chuba didn't do so well coming in, but, that comes with experience, I believe, as a running back in this league. So I do see some goodness out of him having Christian. I mean, obviously, it's better than anywhere he could be. I think this is the best opportunity for Baker, but I don't think we see much of a difference unless he just continues to grow, like I know he will as a player. But I mean, he did have some of the best running backs in Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb in that backfield. That Nick Chubb and then we're running, 1,000 yards, something like that each. I mean, they were freaking studs out of the backfield. So hopefully Christian gets back on that level and does great things catching the ball and everything. But it's gonna pretty comparable to Nick Chubb, in my opinion.
Took my fantasy football team right to the end, the last place.
Assuming McCaffrey plays 12 plus, like I said, where do you have Carolina as it stands now with Baker finishing in the NFC South?
I have them finishing second, still behind Brady and them. I mean, as much as we dog on Brady, I mean he is the GOAT and the dude can play still. They still have a really solid core of players there. DJ Moore though, Robbie Anderson, all them being there helps a lot. Baker didn't, in my opinion, had I'm blanking on Jarvis Landry over at the Browns. So big upgrades in receivers, in my opinion.
So you're telling me DJ Moore and Roby are a better combo than OBJ and Jarvis?
Well, I'm not talking about OBJ at this point.
Okay.
OBJ's gone. Just Jarvis.
So
obviously Jarvis is
Jones, I guess, is
correct.
The other guy.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. I'm not saying no. Obviously, OBJ and Landry definitely the better thing there.
Gotcha.
But and Landry's good. Don't get me wrong. I actually really like Landry, but when you have one guy, all you got to do is put your best guy on and bring over a safety. And guess what? He's covered. There's nothing you can do about it. But in this case, Robbie Anderson's beginning to prove himself. He had a very, very subtle start in the beginning, but he is now picking it up. DJ Moore has obviously been great. You got Rashard Higgins, CJ Saunders, Andre Roberts behind him. I mean, they got a pretty good, decent receiving core at Carolina. So, but I don't see them finishing number one personally. I think Brady and them still hold together what they have. That offense is just too electric as well as the defense. But I agree with you that Carolina's defense is going to be a force to be reckoned with Shaq Thompson, Brian Burns, Derek Brown, all them.
Yeah. Did you see Robbie Anderson's comment back in April when asked about Baker Mayfield potentially joining the Panthers? It's one word, one quote. No.
Yeah.
He walked that back a little bit today.
Did he? What'd he say back?
Let's take a look here. He said he's got no issue here. Literally tweeted, "I don't have an issue with Baker. Stop trying to paint that narrative." So, I mean, in his defense, I mean, if you're asked a question point blank, at that time, I'm sure he felt for his team the best thing to move forward with was Sam Darnold. So,
correct.
You can't fault the guy for that. So, it's always funny when stuff like that happens. So, he's going to get out there. They want to win. He's going to get out there. They're going to throw a couple balls. He's going to realize that Baker can put a hell of a lot more juice on that ball than Sam Darnold can. So, and he's a speedster. Right. So, I mean, Robbie Anderson's going to be flying down the field, waiting for that ball. He's going to have to catch up to the ball finally versus waiting for it.
Correct. While we're on that, I mean, let's bounce, we're talking about quarterbacks, big addition this whatever offseason, Russell Wilson. What do you think about that?
I mean, Russ is I don't know. I mean, I do like me some Russell Wilson. Like if you just mean like what I think about it, like for the Broncos' chances. I mean, we've already
Yeah.
talked, man. That's the toughest division of football coming up. I mean, that division is going to be ridiculously difficult. There's a chance that they finish number 1. There's a chance they finish number 4 in that division. We really don't know. Broncos will always be good. They always have a home field advantage playing up in the mountains. They'll always have that home field advantage. So, I mean, I think my pick is that they do make playoffs. Honestly, I could easily see the Chiefs falling to 3. I could see the Chargers being number 1 or the Broncos, and then those two, just interchangeable at 1, 2 is my guess. If I really had to put my penny on it, I think Herbert Sherbert's going to take a huge leap this year as well. So Chargers win that division for me, especially bolstering the defense, and then Broncos number 2. You got Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton that are going to be excellent weapons for Russell.
Definitely agree.
Do you think, what about, I mean, you talk about those 3 teams. What about your good old Raiders? Adding Devontae Adams, I mean, that has to put them somewhere.
They're going to finish 9-8, 8-9. I mean, the same as they have been. Devontae Adams, in my opinion, is the best receiver in football. There might not be much opinion on that. A lot of that probably been proven at this point, but I don't know. I think Derek Carr. I just said, Derek Carr. I almost said David Carr. I think Derek Carr, is a average to slightly above average QB in the league. Again, I just think in that division, having to play the Broncos twice, the Chiefs twice, the Chargers twice, I don't know. I still have them finishing last in that division, but still possibly with a 9-8 record. Still with a winning record.
Yeah. For sure. Well,
right.
I mean, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Now, since we have Dallas Cowboy fan, two fans on here for our host and Mr. Nicholas, talk about their offseason. What do you think? What are you expecting of them this coming up season?
I don't expect the turnovers defensive wise, but as far as defense goes, I still expect us to be a top 10 defense. I don't expect them to be top 5 necessarily. Y'all know I'm a big mean reversion guy. There's no way they have that amount of turnovers again. There's just not a way that happens mathematically. But yeah, we lost Randy Gregory, but gosh dang, I mean, we added Dante Fowler. We drafted Sam Williams in the 2nd round. You've got Micah Parsons with another year under his belt. Osa Digizua, another year under his belt. And he was phenomenal as a rookie last year. And then everybody just wants to discount it. But man, if you look at any PFF Pro Football Focus stuff, you'll still see that DeMarcus Lawrence is top 5 at that position. He doesn't have the numbers anymore. It's because they double team him every play, which frees up other guys. But
exactly.
I think that defensive that front line is still going to be ferocious like they were last year. And hopefully less penalties without Randy Gregory there. So, there may be a plus side to that. Offensively, we've still, in my opinion, we still most definitely have the best quarterback in that division. He's still better than Carson Wentz. He's still better than Daniel Jones, and he's still better than Jalen Hurts. That didn't change. So there hasn't been a repeat division winner in 2 decades in this division. If there's any year for there to be one, I think it's this year. I think it's the Cowboys.
What about you, Mr. Houseman? What do you think?
I'm right along the same lines as Nick. Nick is definitely the bigger Cowboys fan than I am when it comes to stats. I'm a very in my feelings type viewer.
He's the mean Cowboy fan.
Sure. Long lived Cowboys fan. Just every off season you start to hear the buzz. You start to hear all the good things. They're looking good. And then we get into the season. It starts off good. Get into the postseason, your heart's broken. So I haven't made my way back to hearing the buzz, the chirping, any of that to get excited yet. I think Nick is spot on. I don't think we'll have as many turnovers, but I think the culture is still there with Dan staying. I see the defense coming back and being at least top 10. So I expect good things for the Cowboys. I'm not there yet.
Possibly the most underrated move of the offseason.
1,000%.
Us convincing Dan Quinn to not take a head coaching job.
Yes.
Maybe the most underrated.
Ginormous move for the
staffing.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
Agreed. would 1,000% agree with that.
All right. Well, with more NFL and NBA talk to come, that's it for today's podcast. Be sure to tune in for more Dogmatic Opinions.